Okay, well that's a good note to come to a sort of last point, and just to ask you all to kind of look ahead, 3-5 years and where we're going to be. Off camera, somebody just mentioned 3D television, something that will be trying to come down this network. But we've talked about how the network needs to be compatible and viable enough for what is commercially viable. I mean, 3 to 5 years, I mean, what do you think most people will have as a home network?
I mean, at the moment, everyone who has broadband has a home network. It may be a very simple vestigial home, but they already have one. I think it will happen. I think we'll go to more content sharing, more uploading, etc., etc. I don't actually think it will be as fast as many people think. You know, a lot of these things actually really do take a long time. But again, if we've got the basic infrastructure there, then I think the applications will come. And the big mistake, the absolute #1 mistake here, would be to give home networking a worse name than it's got already. You know, it's really got to be invisible and reliable. And at the moment, it's frankly neither of those things. If we can get to that, then I think the applications will come and people will use it. But again, the nirvana is they have no idea they're actually using it. It just works.
I guess for me, the judge of whether home networking has been successful is that it becomes kind of a word that people associate with something that never quite happens. Because I think if you look at interactive TV is another very bad word in the TV market. Yeah. But in reality, you know, people vote on X Factor and it generates an awful lot of money for Simon Cowell and lots of other people. So I think home networking will evolve, come what may. In the next 3 to 5 years, I think we're probably not looking at a long enough time frame. I think 2 problems that we face is that GPON's only going to be rolled out over the next 5 years. LTE is probably only going to start being rolled out in 2010, 2011 and onwards. So I think the underlying enablers that's going to allow you to have this portability and the high bandwidth that you're looking for in the home are still being stalled. However, that being said, I think we need to look to the Asian markets. I think the innovation will come from the Asian markets. They have more social problems which will drive demand. They don't have access to the energy that we have. They're going to have to find devices that use less energy, which means that they're going to probably go down a cloud computing route a lot quicker than we're going to get. So I think those are the sorts of things. How do they solve education problems that they're having? Those are the things I think that will drive their issues, with the Japanese probably leading on telemedicine, the Indians on education, Africa on energy.
Yeah, I agree with David. There's a law called Hofstadter's Law, which things take longer than expected, even if you take into consideration Hofstadter's Law. And I think that this is definitely the case here. If you look at a 5-year horizon and you look at the leading edge applications in that 5-year horizon, not the mainstream, the parents as we've been describing earlier, I think that you will see a much more of this, excuse me, this hybrid network where you're going to see the wired network and the wireless network integrate together. I think that will happen. Excuse me. I think that you'll see much more of this fat pipe both in and through the house. I think that you're going to see applications that will consume that, like whole home DVR, like the integration of application and content flowing across devices, whether they be mobile or fixed. And I think you're going to see innovations and applications that none of us have ever heard of that will surprise us.
I certainly agree that in the home, I do agree with the fat pipe theory, although I think it is going to be slow, even in the home as well. But again, yet again, back to the commercial reality, 3D TV. If people are prepared to pay the sort of network bandwidth that Unicast 3D pays, fine. I'm more than happy to sell it to them. But at the moment, they're not, by quite a long way.
And I think that is the critical thing, is the commercial reality.
Yeah.
The home network is not necessarily at this moment linked to a clear business case, but there are loads and loads and loads of clear business cases below it, that word. And I think they need to be highlighted by another roundtable discussion, yeah. But very clearly there are very clear business drivers here.
I would disagree slightly with your final comment. We know with AT&T and others in North America, they have a very clear business case with home networking and are making money at it.
Yeah, I think most consumers are willing to pay for an awful lot. I think one of the biggest issues we face is one of trust. The consumer is facing charges everywhere.
yeah, if I look at my own bill for entertainment and communications in my home, if I could get a single communication provider that could halve that, I'd be quite happy to do it. The problem is everybody's trying to get the last penny out of it.
No, that's true, but again, that comes back to the commercial problem, because actually what you want to do is pay less for the same or more, which again, from the point of view of, actually delivering that over a network is a challenge.
Which with some sort of consolidation and alignment is fairly easily.
Oh, there are savings to be had there, but again, ultimately someone has to pay for this stuff.
Ultimately, somebody has to pay for this stuff.
Exactly.
Always a good line to end on. Thank you very much indeed, gentlemen. I mean, fascinating stuff, and clearly what we should do is show this programme to a bunch of service providers and ask them to say what they think should happen with the Intelligent Home Gateway and Home Network, and that would be a good discussion. Thank you very much.